Hey, it's Wednesday night. Let's make some dinner. All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Dave Guerra. This Vet Cooks. That's what the shirt says. Therefore, it is what it is. So, with that being said, it's Wednesday evening. Typically, we make sandwiches for dinner, but not tonight. Tonight, it's a little special. We're going to make some meatballs, and we're going to do something different. I've made like 3 different recipes, meatball recipes over the years, and we're going to do something different this time. Actually, we're going to try a whole new different process. We've got some French bread. We're going to use 2/3 of this loaf of French bread, and we're going to soak it in water, and that's going to be part of the binding element for the meatballs. This should be interesting. I'm excited. Let's make it happen. All right, let's go over the ingredient list. All right, we're going to use about 1.5 pounds of pork, so ground pork, 1.5 pounds of ground beef, sirloin, and we're using the 910 or 90-10, some grated Parmigiano Romano Gian Leguizamo cheese, and some garlic, and we're going to dice up a whole onion. We're going to dice up this onion. We're going to use 4 of these little critters, 4 eggs, some salt and pepper, or a salt and a deadly pepper, some rosemary. We're going to throw in some rosemary here, some fresh rosemary, some basil. There we go, basil. There it is, basil. Throw in some basil, and over here, looking all wilted and sad, is some parsley. We're going to be throwing that in there as well. Alrighty, let's pan over here a little bit. There we go, and of course, the bread. Now, before we start, we're going to cut 2/3 of this, and then we're going to soak it. But before we start, the first thing we got to do is 425 degrees. Preheat that oven again. 425. There we go. Been watching too many of that guy. Alrighty. So let's get that started, and let's start putting this thing together. There we go, that's it. Now the recipe does not call for this to be sliced or anything. As soon as we get it in there, it's going to get all mushy. We purchased this bread several days ago. I think like today's Wednesday. We got it on Saturday. And it's fine. It's been sitting in the fridge. It's fine, no big deal. We'll put this away. We'll do something. I guess this will be the beginning of Thanksgiving stuffing. We'll go ahead and put this in the freezer, save it for later, and we'll take care of that. Off camera, Mrs. This Vet Cooks is preparing the 1.5 pounds of meat. 1.5 pounds of the ground beef and 1.5 pounds of the ground pork. All right, so there it is. Now we're going to get this out of the way, and we're going to submerge it in here. Now we're going to submerge it It's got to be completely submerged. So it's going to have a lot of water in here. You'll see that in a second. All right, there it is. Yeah, it's loaded down with water. You might need to put something on top of it to keep it completely submerged, which I did. And 3 to 4 minutes soaks everything in. It's really, you can tell. So now what we're going to do is we're going to drain the water. Then we're going to squeeze as much water as we can out of the bread. So we'll get in there and we'll squeeze it. So let's get that taken care of. In the meantime, the meat's ready. We're just going to chop up some of the parsley and sage and rosemary and thyme and basil. And we'll start mixing everything in this big bowl here in just a moment. All right, so there it is. Through the miracle of modern technology, everything's ready to go, except for the eggs. We'll crack some eggs here in a minute. And let's rock and roll. So here's our bread. Right, so we'll throw in the ground beef, the 1.5 pounds of ground beef, the 1.5 pounds of ground pork. Now this is ground pork. This is not sausage. It's not that ground Italian sausage. Otherwise, way too many spices would end up in here. Right? Because don't forget that sausage is spicy on its own. Alrighty. What you hear there is the sounds of the sauce that this is going to be served on for tonight's dinner. Alrighty. So, alright, there's our onion, our parsley, our basil, our rosemary, garlic, salt and pepper. So we'll get that all in here. Get that all in there, nice and Get them all going. There it is. And then the heaping cup of cheese. There it is. Be careful. So it came out in a clump and it dropped. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of off camera. It's a mess of cheese up here. But yeah, you got to be careful. The rock came out. We'll dump in all the extra stuff. That's kind of, there we go. Get this out of the way. Alrighty, let's get it looked. Alright, looks better. Alright, let's get this get these eggs things under control here. One egg. Two eggs. Now you may ask yourself, why is Dave making so much if it's just him and Mrs. This Vet Cooks? Because around here, we're going to freeze the leftovers that we make, and we're going to have them later on. Hoagie, sub sandwich, the roll, the bread, do a little meatball sandwich, maybe some spaghetti later on or some other pasta. We'll be serving that up. So again, very versatile, and it's always good to have some ready to throw into the oven, heat them up, or the air fryer to heat them up, and we're good to go. So that's it. Now what do? We give it a good mix here. Everything going together. And really, that's all there is to it. Now once we're done and everything's nice and neatly mixed in and it's all looking good and it's all put together, we're going to start forming the meatballs themselves. Make sure you break up that bread. Turn that around, make sure you get everything, all the onions. Look at that, onion heavy. Now it did call for 2 small onions, but we only had medium-sized onions, so I used a bigger one, bigger than medium. One of those, just one of the bigger than medium onions. That is a lot. Now, one of the other options for the bread is you could soak it in milk. You could soak it in milk. But again, in this economy, who's got milk to soak? Oh, and then you got to throw it away. Now I know there's like a breakfast thing, an old English breakfast where they would heat up milk and bread, and you could have that for breakfast, but we're making dinner, so I don't know if you've ever watched that cooking history or whatever that video is. I'll share the link to it, but they talk about the old English breakfast, and one of those was the hot milk and bread kind of porridge or pudding or whatever they call it over there. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and I'll continue mashing this up, and I'll get back to you in just a moment when we're ready to roll it all out. Alright, so there they are. These 2 are for dinner. That's what we're having. Oops, sorry about that. These 2 are bigger for dinner. That's dinner tonight because that's all we're having, that and just a little light sauce on top of it. Here's a whole sheet pan full of them. Alright, so what do we got there? We got 20 and 7 more, so 27, and these would be about 3 of these. So 30 altogether is what we would have made had we stayed with this size. But let's throw them in the oven. 425, don't forget, you should have already had your preheat in there. These will be about 20 minutes. These are going to be about 35 minutes. The bigger ones are 35 minutes. So let's get them in the oven and let's make some magic because I'm getting hungry. So the meatballs are in the oven, 425 degrees, nice and hot, 25 to 30 minutes. Perfect, should be great, they should be done. Don't forget we made the bigger ones, so those are going to be in there about another 5-10 minutes longer, no big deal. They're going to be delicious. So with that, you know what I got to say. Again, I got to thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate your likes, your comments, your shares. Thank you for sharing, those of you that have shared. And if you haven't shared yet, share them with your friends, especially those that said, like, hey, I'm not telling you to make this, but here's a cool recipe. Check it out. And if you yourself have made these, let me know if you've made any of these recipes. Definitely want to hear from you. Alrighty. But as always, you know, it's also that time. We're right here. We're right here. Don't forget. Reach out. Veterans Crisis Line. Again, visit the website. Call the number 988. Press 1 when the automated attendant answers. Make the call. Make the call. Do appreciate you. Make sure you do it. It's July 4th is right before I'm recording this. Is July 4th. And you know what happens after July 4th. That's right. It's a slip and a slide into Labor Day, and Labor Day is a slip and a slide into the holidays. So again, fast times are happening. Things are moving fast. Don't get caught up. And if you do get yourself caught up in something, hey, just reach out, make the call, talk to someone. That's what they're there for. So again, make the call. Veterans, you press 1. And veterans, you go to the veteranscrisisline.net. Everyone else, you can dial 988. My dog agrees. So make sure you do it. Alrighty. Listen, thanks again for those of you that have watched, subscribed, and done everything. You know, the Twitter, or I'm sorry, the X, and on the Facebook. My dog is telling you to do it. He will bite you if you don't do it. So make sure you do it. And no, sir, he doesn't bite. He's all bark. He's all bark, no bite. But don't test him. That's all I got to say. Alrighty. So let's wait it out. Got a couple more minutes here, and then we'll go from there. So again, thanks a lot. There it is. There they are. There they are. So there they are. Again, pound and a half of ground beef, pound and a half of pork, ground pork, some basil, some thyme, some other stuff. Basil, of course, yeah. Thyme, parsley, salt, pepper, 4 eggs, and of course the Parmigiano Reggiano Gianleguizamo. I don't know what it's called. Seriously, just keep going with it. Anyway, there it is. Nice huge meatballs. That's what's for dinner. And we're going to do a tasty taste on the smaller ones. They came out ahead. I gave these a little bit more time. Because of their size, but they look fantastic. Alrighty, so let's go do the tasty taste. Yep, there it is. This is the smaller one. The big ones we're going to have for dinner, but there it is. The ones that are down there. So let's break this one down and let's do a quick little tasty taste. The other ones are going to have this tomato sauce, marinara type sauce on them. Let's go ahead and break this one down and give it the big tasty taste. And through modern technology, magic, video magic, we just slice this up. Let's give it a tasty taste. Oh man, you can see all the veggies, all the onions and the spices and the herbs and seasoning and everything that's in there. Let's give it a big tasty taste. See how that bread did? It's still a little piping hot. Very moist, very tender, very flavorful. Now, do want to say it does. I do get the basil. It did ask for three tablespoons or a tablespoon and a half. It asked for a lot of basil, 3 tablespoons of basil, and I used a tablespoon and a half. Again, it's to your liking. So to me, it's a little bit more. But the sauce, when I actually have the one for meal, it's going to balance out really nice and neat. So again, try it. If you do try it on your own, try it. It's delicious. It's flavorful. It's fun. It's very moist, very meaty. It does cook. The final color, as you see, it doesn't really look like it's been in a frying pan, but it is good. Don't forget, we baked it. You can put it in an air fryer and bake it there, or reheat it in an air fryer. And if you're doing it in spaghetti or with spaghetti, meatballs and spaghetti, or spaghetti and meatballs, you want to wait 10 minutes. You want to wait 10 minutes before it's done, and then you want to put it in there with the sauce. Why? Because it's going to continue to cook there, so you don't want to overcook it. But other than that, so technically if it's 25 minutes, it was 30 minutes, so you're going to cook it for 20 minutes and then the last 10 minutes with the sauce. Alrighty, so I'm Dave Guerra. This is I don't know what to call it, because the original recipe was the ultimate best, greatest meatball recipe you'll ever try. I concur. It is very good. It's the best one so far. I like it a lot. So again, thanks for joining me. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Dave Guerra, and This Vet Cooks.